Hi, welcome again to another training session. This is your first one, and welcome to the training session. This time we're going to deal with filtering. It's adding little drop-down arrows at the top which allow you to filter data. You may have seen some of your colleagues do this. The thing about this in the new version, so if you've got 2007 onwards, you can use a new feature called tables, which not only allows you to filter your data, but allows you to color it and add totals to the bottom. So they're like simple pivot tables. So if you had a go at pivot tables and you couldn't get your head around it, then try with the tables first, see how you get on with it. So the first thing we're going to do is, if I zoom in there, is we need to create a table. So this data, notice how the data is laid out. It's got column headings across the top. There's no gaps in the data, so if I scroll down, I click in there and then use the wheel on the mouse, I'm scrolling down to the bottom. Notice there's no gaps, no extra rows or anything in there. Make sure I click in the data. So if you're wondering which cell to click on, I'm going to click on cell D7. There you go. So how to hug an alligator. Next thing we need to do is to create a table. Is on the home tab on the ribbon, then you'll go up to this bit that says Format as Table. Now my screen's condensed at the moment, so what I'm just going to do is maximize the window, just to show how it might look on your screen. And you see it says Format as Table here. If you click Format as Table, go all the way down here, and then you'll choose a format. So I'm going to go for a rather boring one, Corporate Blue. Give that a click. This box here pops up, coming up, asking Format as Table, and what it should hopefully have done is automatically have selected the range for your table. Note the dollar signs, again, if you want to know information about that, see our video about absolute references. So if we click on OK, and you can see our data has changed into a table. I zoom back so you can see that there. There you go. So you can see the headings at the top, so the column headers have become the field names at the top. We've got the filters that you can drop down, and notice all the rows have alternate colors. Now, should you decide to change the color, then you can go up to the top and literally just hover over the different color schemes. You see here, I'm just changing if I want a blue or a lighter blue or a green top or a red top there. If I go to the little drop down arrow, I can choose more color schemes. I can go even dark or have ones that are not so good on the eyes. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to change it to orange at the top. There we go. Excellent. So what can you do with this? Well, the first thing is you can filter. Now, say for instance we're interested in all of the books that we sold to John Wilson, let's say. Let's say books and DVDs to start off with. So if I click on this little filter drop-down list here, this little drop-down list appears. I'm going to uncheck select all, and then just check John Wilson. And then I alternatively could just type in this box there. I'll do that in a second or so. So if I click on OK, I can see there I've got John Wilson. Also, if you look in the bottom left, it will tell you there's 5 of a total 30 records found. So I can see there's 5 being sold to John Wilson. And also note, if you look very closely, you can see that there's a little filter, a little funnel next to the drop-down arrow on contact name. It shows you that a filter has been applied. And also notes that if you just go to the left here, that all of the row headers, the numbers here, are in blue. So anything in blue shows that a filter has been applied to that range of data. So to clear the filter, I'm going to click on the little drop-down list which has the funnel next to it, and I'll click on the option that says clear filter from contact name. And you can see, if I just zoom back again, the data there is all there. Now say for instance we're looking for something else. Let me just zoom in one more time. Say we're looking for a product and we're looking for how. So if we go up to the drop down list here, and then where it says search, click in search, I'm going to type in how. And what it will do is it will automatically filter out these the different products in this case. So how to be a town crier, how to hug an alligator. I'm going to go down and click on OK, and I can see that there's only 2 of them. So there's only 2 there. Were sold to John Peters and Henry Baker. So let's just remove that filter. Clear filter from products. There we go. The filters can be much more comprehensive, a little bit more complex. All of this information is typed in 2012, so it's a couple of years or so ago. So if I click on the drop-down list here, notice there's date filters. Now if this information was current, I could search by tomorrow, today, or yesterday. Or if I want to look by a certain month, then if I untick select all and I just check January, okay, and then click on OK, and then it will give you just the ones there in January. If I want to be more specific with dates, if I go down and clear the filter, I can then go to date filter and choose all the dates in this period, or I can go to a custom filter at the bottom, which basically you can choose a date. So I'm going to choose a date that is after, and I'm going to say the 31st of January. Make sure I get the right year. In fact, I'm going to type that back in as 2012, and is before. Okay, and I'm going to do the 30th or the 28th of, actually I'll just go to June, the 30th of June. Make sure I change the year because the dates aren't current. Click on OK, and I can see I've got 18 records. So far so good. You can search by date and by text. You can also search by number as well. So if I click on the drop down list and clear the filter, you can also search by number. The other thing that's quite clever with this is at the top there's a little checkbox called total row. If you check that, it will take you automatically to the bottom, which will add different functions on the various columns. So notice this has got the sum function added to it to work out the total amount of money made. If I wanted to, I can also add that to the quantity. So I've sold 2,095. Then when I come to filter it, say if I'm interested only in DVDs, so I uncheck books, make sure DVDs is checked and click on OK. I can see I've sold 1,394 or 1,394 DVDs. If I look up there, £9,867 and 6p. This isn't formatted as pounds and pence, which you can easily do. So there we go, a little bit on tables and using filters. Might be able to help you out in finding and filtering data. Just one quick thing before I go. If you want to get your data back to a range, on the Design tab, there's an option there that says Convert to Range. But before you do that, may I suggest that you change the table style back to light. And in that way, the colors won't become permanent colors. It makes just a little bit easier if you decide to add this, a table to that same range of data. So I've changed that back to light. I then go to Convert to Range, make sure I'm on the data. Convert to Range. Do you want to convert the table to a normal range? Yes, I do. And so then now the data is back to a normal range. So thank you very much. Thanks very much for listening. More information can be found on www.computertutoring.co.uk.